Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome to yet another survival city builder, this time known as Grimgrad, a game that's available now on Steam for free that really reminds me a lot of Banished and also the old school Sierra city builder games such as Emperor Rise of the Middle Kingdom or Pharaoh. This game's free because it is now available in a demo format, so if you'd like to try it out for yourself, you definitely can. There's a few campaign missions available that serve as kind of a tutorial to the game's story and also its gameplay functions. There's also a free mode too, a sandbox mode if you will, so that way you can build whatever you'd like within the game's currently available items. The game takes place in Slavic locations with Slavic lore, though I don't think it actually alludes to precisely where it is. It's definitely a older style type city builder. At least it feels like it's much earlier times. We're not talking about the 80s or the 20s or the 1800s. This is long ago. And that's what you look for in these survival type games, where of course it comes to down to cutting down wood and surviving by fishing and growing crops and having pigs and such and giving them grain to then grow a much bigger city. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the free mode, where I believe there's a predetermined map in the free mode, but there's a few different maps in the campaign mode too. Let's go ahead and jump into the free mode to take a look at everything that's available for it. Alright, so we start by a nice little lake here, and we've got a larger lake over here, or possibly a coastline. It looks to be a lake. But yes, so here's where we'll be building our city, and looks like a little lake there for fishing, and maybe some other materials here for mining. Looks like stone and stuff over here with some ladders and whatnot set up. Very nice looking. I like the look of the world for sure. And this is as big as the map is for now, but this might just be for some of the A, the demo, and B, for some of the smaller early scenarios that this map may be utilizing. Let's go ahead and jump back to the coast then. We're going to also need to build near the trees so that way we can cut some things down. Is that a deer? That is a fox coming out of the woods there. Alright, we'll have to be careful for that. Okay, well let's go ahead and get started by taking a look at all the buildings that are available. We have a leader tent, which will serve as kind of the main warehouse and I guess the meeting point for all the leaders of the camp. We have a place for settlers, which can be upgraded from basic tents to more advanced homes over time. We have wells for disease prevention and possibly for fire prevention too. There are other buildings for that. Burial places and barbers. Hygiene, very important in this game, just as much as food and water for drinking as well, and for eating, which can be sold at the marketplace, which we'll see a little bit later. We have ourselves a lumberjack's hut and a fisherman's house, which can be put right on the shoreline. Cereal field, aka wheat, which will be harvested and planted throughout the year, and marketplaces for selling those goods. A roadblock, which will allow us to designate whether or not certain vendors can go through there. In other words, it's almost like controlling a circuit. You build a neighborhood and you want to keep all the people who work in that market within that neighborhood so they don't wander around aimlessly. This is the way to control them that way. We also have a hunter's hut, which of course is used for going hunting for deer and other things that may be in the forest. A mason's house for building things out of stone. A sawmill for making boards or planks that you see at the top. Fire station, storehouses, pig farms. A mini fair for entertainment. That's interesting. A bakery. And a factory and a pagan temple. The factory used for making clothing. So those will be some things we can work up to a little bit later. There's also great ways to separate things. So if you're wondering, oh, what are the food items? You just click on food, and there you go. And there's also the ability to build roads quite easily. We also have a look at layers here, water levels. So we can only build wells wherever we see the blue. So anywhere near the shore or the lake in the middle. Looks like we also have hygiene, which of course there's no hygiene yet because there's nobody living here, and no other things on some of these other levels. There's also the ability to give higher priority to services, food, logistics, or production. So let's get started by building our leader tent. I think it'll be a good idea to build a neighborhood between these two locations, and then maybe focus on the maybe the southern side here for logging and whatnot. Looks like it's kind of at an angle, so we're going to have to build like this. It is grid-based, so we'll have to build that way. Let's build our leader tent maybe over here. That'll be fine. And what is that there? Oh, it looks like a little thing for gathering water as well. There's a precise name for that, I forget, but let's see. We'll go ahead and build our leader's tent here. Very nice. And we'll go ahead and start laying out some roads. Alright, now people will start coming out of the woods as soon as we build some of our first homes, so let's go ahead and maybe we'll look at it this way. It'll be a little more palatable. Let's go ahead and build some places for the settlers then, next to the initial starting area. Now, these are what the homes can update to look like, but at the start, they're just tents. So let's go ahead and put a couple of these down to start with. We'll do a neighborhood of 4, and you'll see people come out of the woodwork as soon as we connect roads to it. There you go. And they want to settle, so they kind of just come from wherever out of the forest to then settle in these lands. Very similar to how it is in Emperor Rise of the Middle Kingdom or the Pharaoh games, in which they're making another one of those, so that's great. Obviously, now we need a well for them to be able to get the water that they need. And it looks like if we turn this layer off, there we go. We can kind of see how the tents look. Very nice. It looks like the leader's camp is going well as well. Little food being cooked up there while everyone's getting settled in. Go ahead and start with our well now. Ooh, of course, we have to build over here, so I'd better make sure we use those roadblocks appropriately too. Now, I think things are automatically employed here. You can only, again, remember, we can only change the priority of the service or the good in which they produce. So we can't necessarily say, hey, assign somebody here as a worker. We have to raise the workforce overall. And so right now, each of these houses has 5 people living there. We have water supply and food for a little while, but we better get started with the probably the logging camp first, and also hunting too, so that way we can provide more wood to the camp to build more buildings. Otherwise, we'll run out shortly. Lumberjack's house then still takes 3 wood. More wood is needed. Let's go ahead and build that house here, and someone will get to work there right away. So at the very top of the menu here, we see a bunch of items that we have as well. We have gold, fish, logs, cereals, boards, meat, stone, and skins, and also living spaces and workers available and workers needed. So you can see that we'll probably need a few more homes for all the different types of things we're about to do. 4 workers needed at the lumber mill, and then also a few people needed at the well as well. We'll also need a barber then, so that way we can keep people protected from disease. It's a hairdresser, a bathhouse, a surgeon protects people from disease. So lots of things done in this building. It looks like a tiny little outhouse. I honestly think it should be, if it's going to do all those things, it should be a 2x2 building, but if it saves space to place, then that's a good thing for us. Build a few more homes. We're going to add another road here. Actually, we'll make a main road down here because eventually we'll do some fishing. Let's go ahead and provide some more food for our people too, so that way they can continue to settle. We have a road that goes down here now. There we go. And we can build another road behind that. Continue to build fishing posts all along the lake, as that'll be a pretty popular place for everybody to go for food, at least for now, until we start hunting. All right, looks like hygiene is plummeting as we wait for servants to come around, people who are in that service industry to come around. So as you see this woman here who is walking with the water, she's actually delivering water to the homes. So as you may not know from the Sierra games, essentially when the person who works for the building passes by a home, they'll provide that service. So it'll take a little bit of time for some things to be complete. For a building to truly reach its potential for the neighborhood once the person is walking around a little bit. Let's build some more homes. We'll need more workers for sure. Go ahead and do a place for settlers here. And we'll also need to place down a place for burial and a few other basic services that they do mention in the campaign, which again acts as a tutorial for the game. Maybe we'll build our burial site over here somewhere, just outside of town. And we can also do some stone mining up here too, so we'll get to that a little bit later. Let's go ahead and build this structure here. We have nobody else who wants to live in the town just yet. As you can see, resident health and hygiene and such are kind of dropping, so that's what's preventing people from moving in. So we'll make sure that we've got enough people working at the barber. And let's see, we also need to make sure we have the burial place, so let's work on that. Put that down there. All right. Let's see what else the barber will produce, what else the barber can do for us. Okay, it looks like the well's working, the barber is working. We now have ourselves the burial place, so some basic requirements are complete. We will need a marketplace at some point. We can also get a hunter's hut going. Go ahead and put that next to the lumberjack. Actually, they're kind of taking away the wood, so let's build it over here. And as you can see, the dead are being, bring out your dead. Yeah, no matter what, people will constantly be dying, whatever your population is. So this kind of serves as a building that refreshes that. So your population will kind of it shows the animation of people dying, but you may or may not lose workers. They're immediately replaced, but the workers want to know that that service exists, and it kind of shows that, hey, yes, it's actually a thing. So as people die, that'll be just fine. Okay, let's see what else we need. Oh, yep, delivering wells, water to the homes. Good. Fish are being brought to the homes. Excellent. We need ourselves a marketplace now for some of those goods. Again, a very small building. Let's place that here at the near the homes. Very good. So now we'll start distributing fish this way and logs and meat. So the fish that are gathered from the fishing hut can now be stored here for sale. So you can see some of the workers coming by with fish. And typically they store it at the leader's tent, but eventually it'll be brought across the street to the market as soon as they kind of complete that supply chain. All right, workers at the burial place. Yep, that's up and running. People going back and forth to that. Hygiene is still 0, although it should be okay with the barber and whatnot. This building should be connected via road. Go ahead and make sure that we've connected that correctly. Would appear as if it's functioning. And let's see, plot for residential building of the initial level, right? So homes can upgrade, and upgraded homes will bring in more and more people without having to build the settlement even larger. So we do have the water supply complete. Hygiene should be completed with the barber, and the burial should take place, or rather keep track of those things. Night soil and dead body collector prevents town from contamination. Night soil. Oh, I see. We might need to build another one of those and maybe possibly build it closer to the city. That's what's dealing with the other thing, waste, essentially. Let's build that closer to the, maybe not closer to the, let's build a little further away from the water sources, but close to the town. It is a required service, but it's not good to get it that far. There we go. Maybe that'll help them with a little bit more frequent service. I was thinking of the town to set it out a little further away, but obviously we should do it a little closer. Now, in order to stop this worker from walking around, some of the buildings we want people staying real close to, we have a little bit of wood to build these roadblocks, which will essentially keep workers from going too far away from the main buildings of the town. So, like, for example, we don't really need the, like, water people or whatnot coming down here. So night soil collectors don't need to go through this. People carrying water don't need to go down here. These people aren't needed at the fishing hut. In fact, really nobody is needed down there except for maybe the firefighter in case that there's a fire. So this will allow us to keep more of the focus on the downtown sector. And as you can see now, the problem that was happening earlier is now being resolved. Cool. So the hygiene should pick up now as we have more and more people coming by to pick those up. So it wasn't even that the burial site is necessarily about bodies, but also for the waste removal. Interesting that the game actually features that. Oh, looks like the fisherman's house. Oh, the fisherman actually lives there too. So all buildings have hygiene. Oh, they do. Interesting. That's very interesting. Well, let's go ahead and allow the night soil worker through there then. And here. Excellent. Great sounds inside the camp. You can kind of hear people tinkering away at building stuff and getting things ready for sale. It definitely sounds like a city. Oh, that was interesting. He kind of went halfway and turned around. And now, since most services are being provided, the homes are actually upgrading. Very good. Very good indeed. Yeah, the tutorial mentions that you need to build the burial site near the town for the eventual dead, but doesn't make mention of that. Now we're also providing more fish, so food is definitely coming in, but we need more. So let's build ourselves another fisherman's house now. Oh, I feel so good that we've resolved that. Always feels great to learn something new and to encounter a problem and have it solved. We also need some more workers for the hunter's hut all the way down there. And with our houses upgrading, now up to 9 people from, was it 5? 3 of the 4 homes are upgraded. Let's see here. Yeah, 5 out of 5 for the basic home. But hey, look at that. All houses are upgraded. Fantastic. Might be a good idea to have more of the night soil people come through. Let's see what it's like to demolish a building. Hey, and look at that. People are running to come into the town. Just like our cemeteries, people are dying to get in. That is fantastic. And so now that'll solve a lot of the labor problems we were having, and the well worker can come down here too. Now this is actually interesting. I should build this down here instead of on the intersection, so that way the people who are bringing resources don't go all the way down. Let's destroy a building. We'll destroy those two to start with. You know, I can't help but think that this red grass here almost looks like blood. I don't know why I was thinking that, but it just kind of appears to be something like that to me. Alright, let's go ahead and make sure nobody but the night, soil, and firefighter come through. No need for anybody else to come down here. Good. Alright, and we'll continue to build houses, and they're continuing to be upgraded. Fantastic. So there's a little bit of pre-planning for certain things. Obviously, when you build a neighborhood and kind of roadblock some things a little bit, you're going to have to worry about making sure you've built the neighborhood large enough to expand upon. So we'll kind of make sure we do that down here with additional homes we're going to build. And we'll kind of keep some more houses here. We'll leave some open spaces for fair, or maybe perhaps some trees or something that we can grow. But I don't think we can do something like that. Really what we need now most of is the lumberjacks. We need more lumberjacks producing more wood. And we build another building down here. We should be able to gather that faster. Go another lumberjack house here. Looks nice. And now we got the workers bringing back what looks to be firewood. But in this case, it's just logs. Yeah, we certainly, the burial thing is going to be very necessary. Looks like we might need a burial site every block or something along those lines. Alright, so now they want food to upgrade. Fish are being distributed to the marketplace. Let's provide more, though. Let's try to do a, is the hunter's hut? It's a good idea that we built it all the way over here. The barbers should be allowed to go through there, too. But let's build a barber specifically for this group, too. And we can build a smaller neighborhood over here if we want to. Now, we don't necessarily have to provide all of the city with everything that they need in every corner. We could do kind of a more major downtown area that has most of the things in which they need. Things like food and water are basic for the tier 1s being fully occupied. But if we have people who live a little closer here, then they'll kind of have lower expectations for kind of existing closer to their jobs outside of town rather than inside. In other words, you don't need a barber and a well, a market, and all those things everywhere. Disease is rampant, and apparently zombies are... Okay, apparently these people are sick with the T-pose virus. We now have zombies, Resident Evil crossover, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, boy. Well, I think we're going to need multiple buildings then for a lot of these. So we need... Wow, are these people just literally walking around just spreading disease like that? Oh, I'm sick, I'm going to go walk around the town. That's awesome. Boy, everybody's getting sick, yeah. So the only home that's actually good is the one literally across the street from the well and the barber shop. So there is more than likely, just like in Anno 1800 or any of the Anno games, and as well as in the Empire, or rather Emperor and Pharaoh games, and Caesar too, there is a little bit of a formula as to the best way to set up a neighborhood for its range of food and water. Are these people literally just bringing themselves to the cemetery? Are you guys just letting yourself out? Oh, that's good. Yeah, thank you. That's very helpful. What the hell is going on? Oh, this guy made it. Okay, a couple of people are actually walking. Cool. Well, I'm glad we got people hovering their ways to the graveyard. Man, I love it when there's glitches like that in a game. I love that. That's so good. Population. Let's see. We've got 20 available workers and housing for 65. Let's speed things up and see what exactly happens in the town. Will these people... Oh, wait, no. Are they moving in down here? I'm not entirely sure what's happening. Yeah, as you can see here, these houses don't have access to water. They can get water themselves, but they want somebody to deliver the water for them. So this does provide a close-by workforce, but they're just not going to be as happy. But that's what you get, you know, when you live out in the country. You have, you know, you don't have fiber optic internet and like a sushi place. You just kind of have a well and maybe like satellite or something like that at best. I'm assuming these people are dying and that new people are moving into the town. This is actually really hilarious, but I do like the way this looks and how things may kind of end up here. But do we really need to have all of our services? Let's go ahead and actually go to the, what was it again? The, yeah, the work priorities. Actually, services are top tier. So things like water and the barber should be the first things that are completed. and then food, and then like the delivery of other things to and from workplaces like wood, and then production is last, actually making the resource. That's interesting. I love all these little Shreks walking around. Well, actually, look at that. Health is... Oh. Well, that's interesting. Health goes from 100 to 0 real quick. Oh, with the barber shops. I mean, I guess the only other thing we could do is really try to make sure that we've got enough burial places. Maybe we need more? Weather change. Winds gusts which subsided abruptly as they arose lead to a change in the weather. Ah, yes, this game also has to do with Slavic gods, too. So there is a little bit of pleasing the gods and doing things like that, just as you would imagine in the Pharaoh-type games. There's a few other games coming out like that on this, I think on the next fest. So again, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you do, and turn on the notification bell and smash the like button. It's all free and feels good, man, in order to let me know you want to see more of these type of games, and to stay tuned with them when they come out. Well, we should have plenty of food. It's kind of hard to tell whether or not we're doing something. You know what's interesting is that the people should be required to go to the barber, not vice versa. There does appear to be somebody standing next to that building who says sick, spreading disease. 3 out of 3. Well, this, I would say that there should not be this many people sick, especially if we have two for a town this small, there really shouldn't be this big of an issue going on. I can't believe we're stun locked like this. The campaign does a much better way, though, of explaining those types of things. Pig farm, storehouses, some other things going too. Looks like everybody's actually walking now. But disappearing, so... Are the sick just getting sick and then leaving town? As more people come through? I'm not sure. Any music? Where's the sounds? Nothing going on? Alright, well, we got more and more night soil people working. Some of the houses are now downgrading. Right? We've lost it all. We've lost everything. I don't know what's going on. No more chickens. This must have completely something happened. I have no idea. All right, now on to the campaign where we're going to do some building for the goddess of spring. There's a little bit of a story that goes on and kind of explains who's doing what and why and where. So if you want to read through all that, go right ahead. I'd love to see some cutscenes and whatnot, but I do like the artwork in this game, and I think some voice acting and such between the characters would be absolutely fantastic. So if you're interested, go right ahead. All right, our first goal then is to build the leader's tent, and we're going to follow along and do everything that they say for the campaign, just so you can see, just similarly to what we were trying to do before. Obviously, this map is a little bit smaller than the free play map, so I'm assuming as things go on, after we learn the basics, the map will get much larger. And I prefer the smaller map too, because of course there's a lot more trees closer to the city. Let's do as they say. So we'll build ourselves a leader's tent. We'll build that right here. Okay, and now they want us to know that we can issue decrees here and also collect taxes. That'll be a little later on. Now they want us to place homes for 4 settlers and build a road to the leader's tent, so let's do that. I think we could probably build it something along these lines this time. We'll build it down this way. Perfect. And now people coming out of the woods to be a part of the neighborhood. Alright, now they're asking us to keep track of the job metrics, and we must build more residential homes if there's ever a shortage. Alright, the next thing is the well then, to ensure everybody's got water. All done. Pay attention to the indicators on the top right. These are for fire hazard, health of residents, pollution, and more. Yeah, up here. Okay, they now want us to build a burial place. Because this mentions, yeah. Oh, there it is. It mentions corpses and excrement. Wow, okay. It does mention something like that. It's easy to miss, though, especially because it mentions it's a burial place, which you would imagine them only burying bodies. For how many city builders have you build cemeteries and whatnot? Interesting that they're one part of the same building and two part of the same, like, kind of workforce. Alright, all done. Now let's build a barber's house. And we'll build that for more maintaining of the health. Seems like the barber and the burial site kind of work together, which is kind of interesting. Because one takes care of people while they're living, the other kind of takes care of them when they're dead. And you'd imagine you wouldn't want anybody to die as long as possible. Build a lumberjack hut. Alright. Let's do just that. We'll build that right here. Perfect. I like how the buildings kind of plop in like that, although I wish there was a little bit more construction on it. Although at least it allows us to build stuff right away. Many games are like that. Hopefully there's some monuments and such that we can build along the lines. Alright, they now want us to store 15 logs, so that'll just take a little while for the workforce to complete that. So again, we see the woman who's carrying water for the homes. And we also see the person responsible for carrying bodies, and looks like they might have some quote-unquote excrement there. The weather looks pretty nice, as if it's like a clear day, but I'm hoping that there could be seasonal changes in this game as well. If we're dealing with the goddess of spring, perhaps we'll eventually deal with the god or goddess of summer, etc. Alright, on to building a fishing hut. Still, even in this initial day one tutorial, there's a lot to build and a lot to do and a lot to learn. There we go, build a road there. And now the fisherman needs to stock 10 fish. Looks like there's only pause, normal speed, and ×3 speed in the game. Workers needed are only 15, so the 4 workers are enough to at least start our initial workforce. And a couple houses are out of water so far. Hopefully this person walks to the end of the block. There we go. Now we got to get on to making food, which is the fish, so let's speed that up. I like how the logger actually does cut down trees. I'm assuming that with these stumps they'll regrow unless we perhaps give an order to permanently clear that land so we can build over in that space. I guess we'll see. Alright, all done. Now we want to build a market in order to supply everybody with food and firewood. Well, let's do that. Nice little marketplace there. Let's put a road around that. Wait for people in the houses to have necessary food and logs to kindle the stoves. We now need 4 tents to improve to the next tier. So as we saw previously, before we had Zombieville, we had water and food being delivered, so we may see people from the market come down. And that should fulfill the final requirement before they can upgrade to tier 2. Very much reminds me of how it is in Emperor Rise of the Middle Kingdom and Pharaoh again, where you provide just food and water and then the homes will grow into tier 2. And I do like how they'll eventually house more and more workers, where it's more about how you have the cities interconnected with the services that they need rather than continuously building out. You're kind of building smart and trying to build out in another way. You're trying to make sure everything's got all the possible upgrades that it could possibly get. That must be the salesman there, selling food and whatnot. So in retrospect, it also seems like a good idea to make sure that you keep the homes on a loop, so that way they can be a little closer to the services and kind of build them. Like, for example, up here would be better with the barber and the well nearby. Of course, our well is restricted to where it can build, so we will need to build a lot of buildings along the water, especially residential-wise. That might be a little bit better of a move for the future. Could build some more homes here, too. Wait, it looks like we could build down here. Interesting. Let's add some more homes just to see if they can get upgraded. And we should see some more. There we go. Homes upgrading finally. Alright, stage complete. You can now move on to the next one. Alright, so more about Tale 2 now. Patron of animals. The God having conversations with everybody. Love the artwork. Don't love the bear. Hate it. Very nice. Alright, build a residential area, leader's tent, and 4 living tents, burial area, etc. So now it's really letting us off the chain a little bit, and we get to experience what it's like to build. I would say that the free mode is a little bit more hectic because the people require things pretty quickly, and in this mode it kind of restricts you a little bit from building too quickly, which can be good. Build this here, and we'll put a road around it. There we go. And we'll try to build some loops for the homes. Actually, if we build a neighborhood here, we'll need lots of workers to get started. There we go. And we'll probably build more down here. Let's build a well. Just as I suspected. We'll leave a few more openings here for the homes. And then we'll need our lumberjack. Yep. A little challenging not to get excited to want to build everything at once, but it does seem like it's required no matter what. We'll build this a little closer to the leader's tent, so that way we can build a marketplace nearby. Very nice. And then, of course, we need our burial pit, which we can maybe put over here. I want to keep it far away from the town, but it must be close. And the barber as well, which will require a little bit more wood. Oh, looks like the lumberjack's already doing pretty much everything they need to do. Go on to the barber with 5. Homes are starting to get water delivered. Cool. And the barber next to the well is a good idea. All well and good. Residential area built. Build an industrial area, the lumberjack's house, fisherman's house, and the market. All done. Industrial area built. Road blocker can be used to separate parts of a settlement and prevent service workers like watermen from going too far from residential buildings. Yep, we covered that earlier. Now what we could do is build the road blocker to... Let's see. Well, I don't think there's anywhere that we truly want it, but we'll put it at the end here and just allow everybody to come through. Road blocker built. Build a cereal field. Alright, so we're going to go grow Lucky Charms out here. Need 10 wood for that. Lumberjacks are doing a good job. I love the costume design of everybody. Seems to be a nice change of outfit between everyone. Cereal field can now be built. Ooh, only 2 by 2. Very easy. Okay. They now want us to disable the buildings and turn them back on. Let's do that for the logger briefly. Building disabled. Build a hunter's house and stockpile skins. Yes, we need to get hides now in order to make clothing. This seems to be the tutorial's a much better way to pace things out. As you can see, we're getting pretty much everything that we have access to in the free build mode. But the free build mode allows you to scale up much larger without getting too out of control. All right, one more log and we should be able to get the hunter's hut down. Let's build that just next to the cereal field. Could build it right here. There we go. Alright. Now we can build some more homes. Actually, we could get these current ones upgraded. They just need food. So the Fisher's Hut should bring in enough stuff for the marketplace. I think we just need food to be distributed over time. Build another Fisher's Hut just in case, though. And we do have cereal fields working. And these should now upgrade to where we can have 9 people here as soon as food is being delivered. We don't need anybody going this far, so let's just build a little roadblock here for now. And I guess the alternative would be to, well, actually, we can allow anybody to pass through here. There we go. There we go. Everyone should be allowed through there. That was my mistake from before. Thinking that it was predetermined to where it was turned on rather than off. So you have to turn things on. So these are no one through at the moment, basically. Which, I guess the only other way to do that would be to just make sure you don't have a road built there. So that should be fine. Alright, the homes should start upgrading now to the next tier. And we can build a few more homes too, which will be important. Nice that they're right next to the well and the barber and the marketplace, so everything's nice and close. This is looking much better. I like our first city a lot, but Memeville was not meant to be. Only 1 out of 6 workers there now. Let's see, we have 35 workers needed out of 30, so let's just disable this job for now. Just to make sure we've got everybody fulfilling all the other jobs that are required. A barber that's just roaming, which they were told not to go through there. Interesting. Let's go ahead and make sure we delete the road then. Don't trust it. There we go. Oh boy. Don't know if that'll have any effect on things, so let's just make sure they can get back. Luckily they're free, they don't cost us anything to do. So roads essentially are just like for layouts. Hey, and I can see some homes upgrading. Fantastic. Alright, build a hunter's home and stock 3 skins. Now we should have enough workers to turn that back on, or at least we'll have enough space for the workers. And people are arriving. Great, welcome. Alright, water needs to be delivered. And where's the burial guys bringing bodies all the way through town? Bro, go straight back to the burial place. People don't want to see that. Okay, it would be nice if there was a way to know what way a building's going to be facing, too. Actually, it would be even better to make sure that a building had to face a certain direction towards the road. So that way, when a house upgraded, it would kind of be facing the wherever the road is. Looks like these might be the right way to be facing, yeah. With a little garden in the front. I like the detail on everything. The benches look great. Windows, ceilings, and walls and whatnot look all good. Well, let's see. 35 workers are needed. So now we just need the hunter to do whatever he needs to do, and then bring all the materials back. I don't think we need to build a tannery. I believe the hunter takes care of all that at his place. Looks like a tanning rack is included with that. Don't forget to keep track of amounts of resources, right? Build a mason's house and store 4 stone. Good, now we can do that. Let's see. Produces stones for construction. Workers required are 6, so we'll need a little bit more wood for that. More wood is needed. And if we go to build a lumberjack's house, it will still require 3 wood. So we might want to build another one of those so we can get wood even faster for our town. There we go. So 39 workers needed out of 56 that are available, and there's housing for 73. So that could be our current maximum population until we start encountering homelessness. If that's a thing, which I don't think people will live in our town without that. The water is certainly, well, you can kind of see a little bit of movement on the surface, but underneath the water it looks weird. You can see the kind of the shining effect make it look like the water's moving, but not really. Be nice if we could actually settle next to rivers rather than just lakes, or maybe smaller streams. All right, more people coming into the city, more wood being collected. Let's build our mason's house now. That's what we're looking for. And we'll build that next to the stone mine, which I think we placed it backwards, I guess. But that's where their job's going to be, right up there. So they're going to be gathering stones from here and possibly where else in the woods. It's all good. All right, so build a mason's house and store over 20 stones, although it says 0 out of 4. I think they mean 4? Unless there's large stones that can be converted into small stones. 1 out of 4. Loggers are cutting down more trees. It'd be nice to hear sound effects from the chopping of trees, the mining of stone, and maybe people walking around, footsteps and whatnot. More chatter as people are kind of in more larger population or populated area like the market. Mason's mission completed. In residential buildings, there are stoves and therefore the possibility of fire. Build a fire station. All right, let's build that down by the water. That seems to be the same as the regular well. Put it down here, though. So the well will require stone and wood, too, it seems. And for whatever reason, a lot of our wood was just taken. It must be being transported to the marketplace. As they mentioned, they do sell firewood, so that could be the source of that. Fire station built. Excellent. Logs can now be turned into boards. Now we're starting to get into the more advanced industrial areas. Glad we're cutting down so much wood. Let's make our industrial area over here. Sawmill needs 10 wood. Workers required will be 6, so we'll have 56 total jobs out of 56 total available workers. Or if that means 56 available more. Build our sawmill now. Can't build it there. And it looks like most of our wood was taken again by the city. There seems to be... There's a lumberjack's house here? That's strange. There's nothing... There was a stealth lumberjack's house here? What the heck? What? What happened? Wait, what? Oh, boy. This again? Zombieville? I looked away for 2 seconds to delete an imaginary sawmill. Oh, boy. We're just going to pretend that didn't happen. I can't build here for whatever reason, so we'll just build over here on the outside of town. And, boy. Residents' health are at 0 again. Wow, what's going on? Okay, there's got to be something going on here. There's got to be something going on. Yeah, that's a thing. Huh. Well, I certainly like the concept, but I don't like this, whatever this is. You can see clearly new people coming into the town. We should have dead all the time through, you know, people dying just of old age and accidents and whatnot. But hygiene, I would assume hygiene and water and food should apply to the health, and it looks like that might be what's happening here. Is it? Okay, let's... We have 0 available workers now. So everybody, like, died instantaneously within a split second. So it seems like even having the... all of the workers' forces... Yeah, services being number 1 and having an available workforce, once it slips, it's over. Once enough people die, I guess that... You need to actually, like, really babysit it and make sure everything is turned off. To make sure that water and whatnot is always maintained. Like, right now we have 10 people in here, so really what we should do is make sure no... Well, yeah, nobody should be working at the... any other service other than food and water. But then the number drops to 0 again. That's interesting. I think what might be happening here is for the huts, when people move in because people have died... The status of the house is residence health 0. So that's the health of the house. So once somebody moves in, there's immediately no water supply, immediately no food, and so thus they just die because there's no, these resources aren't here. So when somebody moves in and starts their first day as a somebody working at the well, with there not being an immediate supply, the resident's health is not at a number. They're basically killed immediately because the residents' health is 0. They don't have enough time to go to work, to go to the well, to then do any of the jobs. This might be salvageable. There might be a way to mitigate this and turn on and off jobs, but it looks like for the purposes of this demo, the residents' health issue might need to be resolved. It looks like the houses have now downgraded. That's good. But as you can see, their health is now... Okay, now it's coming back up again. So there needs to be something where a house will downgrade faster in order to reset the requirements. That's going to be a lot harder to get to like the tier 4 and 5 houses, because if there's something that they don't like anymore, they may move out, and that could kill off all the other industries. For example, in Emperor Rise of the Middle Kingdom, if a house required tea and a house required silk, and there was a backup in your silk production or something along those lines, you accidentally sold more than what you had for your people. If a house automatically downgraded and it had 30 people in it, and it does that times 6 or times 4, or however you have your neighborhood set up, you're going to have a bad time. So this is one that's definitely finicky. I see what they're going for, and I do like the idea of dealing with Slavic themes and whatnot, and going outside of Greece, going outside of Rome, going outside of what we've seen so many times before with China and other things like that. Would love to see Korea, Japan, and also any sort of Slavic lore being brought more into these games. There are great games available for history and tales of Slavic nature in Ancestors Legacy. And there's also another game coming soon as well called, I believe it's Grad. That will be also a survival city builder based in Slavic lore. I've never heard of this lore, by the way. I know Baba Yaga. I've heard of those types of things, although that might not be as correct to the region. The Eastern tales that you may not hear enough of don't get enough attention. So let me know what you know down below on some of those and what you think would be a good city builder. Give this one a try and see if you can get past some of these levels, and let me know what you think down below in the comment section. I think if they tweak that a little bit for this demo purpose and make the residents able to survive, you need fail safes for when production slips a little bit, so that way it's basically a kill zone. Like, these people are literally going into like traps and then just immediately becoming a corpse. So everyone you see walking around is literally, it's just a stun lock. It's a stun loop that will never end. All right, I'll see you all next time. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching our first look here at Grimgrad, and I'll see you all next time. Grim is indeed correct, yeah.